ride it like we do now.
Right. Yeah.
And I found that so interesting, also just because of the way in which the interviewer and the historian, the guy that wrote it, actually he's not a historian, he's a journalist for New York Times, I think. And they were just saying how remarkable it was that something would sit there and not be like the missing link.
Yeah.
That it took so long for that to come into place.
To develop.
Yeah. And that's when I thought again about how creativity creation doesn't always happen in the timing that, that we wish it for, or that we expect it to, or that we want it to. I mean, to this day, it is still such a valuable, simple little piece of technology, but it's hugely valuable. You think about what riding a bike does for a kid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That sense of freedom.
It's a rite of passage now.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I think it always
was when I was a kid.
Yeah, I think it still is, Craig.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you never know what lies around the corner.
I got to ask Jesse this question. Did your first bicycle have a banana seat?
Yeah, I don't know if it was my first one, but I believe so. I had one that did. So, I mean, as ugly as that thing was, I'm pretty sure that was my first one, because the other bike I remember was my BMX bike. So I'm sure I begged to get my BMX bike. They step up from the granny banana bike. Yes, the banana seat. Good God.
Yeah.
I think it was orange too.
Yeah. Yeah. Banana seat came before the BMX, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember owning a 3-speed. It actually had the gear mechanism was inside the hub of the back wheel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. You flip 3 gears, and it actually had a pull chain that came out of the hub of the wheel.
Yeah, we are antiques.
Yeah. And my parents got me a bike that was kind of too big for me, because I was kind of a runt of a kid. I was younger, and of course, your dreaded thing was you're sure as the heck didn't want to be a boy and get a girl's bike.
Oh God, yeah. I know, it's so stupid that.
Yeah, well, it is stupid but the interesting thing was the reason girls' bikes were like that, like a boy's bike would have a bar that came straight from the handlebars to the seat.
Yeah,
there would be a bar there. Okay. Yeah. For a girl's bike, it would actually go down to below the seat. Now, the reason for that was so that a woman could ride a bike with a skirt on.
Yeah, I know, and I didn't think about the biology. I mean, I could always remember that. I thought how stupid it was because of my brothers. They would complain sometimes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, if you hit a bump pretty hard, it was like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm awake now.
Yeah. She's so stupid.
Oh, I know, but there's a lot of stupid things in society like that.
Mhm.
That just kind of happen.
With not enough awareness, right? Paying more attention to what they think is appropriate for people instead of looking at what is naturally appropriate for them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still like that in terms of how we work with the body in the West.
That's why when the personal computer was developing, there emerged what was called user interface designers.
Mm.
We were people who would actually decide things like screen layout and how the person would interact with the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So when the text interface was being replaced with a WIMP interface, we called it the Windows icons, mouse and pointer. Yeah, there was conventions for things like drop-down menus and all that kind of stuff. There was kind of an etiquette that developed about, you want to have your buttons in certain places and you want to follow where the eye goes when you're doing your thing and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, that became like user experience experts. That stuff, it was important. It was important that your user had an experience that was easy and intuitive and all that kind of stuff. And what ended up happening is that so much software and other things were being developed so quickly that a lot of those conventions got thrown out the window.
Mm.
Like a faster keyboard wasn't adopted. We're still using the old QWERTY keyboard that was actually developed in the late 1800s because the machinery couldn't keep up to the speed of the typists. So it was actually designed to make people type slower so that the machinery could keep up.
Innovation. I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was thinking for when I saw the first Strider bike, which is the one for kids that doesn't have pedals, but they can get on, they can use their feet.
Yeah.
Right? Nice, ride it and shuffle, and it's like without the training wheels, it's like, oh my goodness, what a wonderful innovation for kids to learn balance.
But that was the original bicycle.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Strider. Exactly.
Yeah, and then we get caught in that I didn't have that bike. I learned with training wheels and the pedals, and as most kids do. Just a miniature version of the bigger bike. Again, in a way of limited innovation.
Yeah.
Always driven by the focus of something.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that's where in the behaviors you can, not just one behavior, you've got to see an inventory, you've got to see a stacking of behaviors to begin to start to say, yeah, there's the real focus.
What I was thinking now when you were saying that, Jess, was how the word inclusive came up for me with that. And I was thinking again about, I think I've shared this before with an interview with designers, companies that design things. And it's one company it's small, it's a medium-sized company. And they've been going for 30 years. And their policy is to, whatever they design, that they think about how disabled people or all sorts of bodies, how all kinds of different kinds of bodies will be able to use whatever it is that they've designed. And what they realized after about 5 or 6 years of being in business is that their designing took longer than other companies. But what they designed was way more sustainable.
Yes.
So
there you go. There's the timing and sustainability. There's the trade-off.
That's right. That was their trade. What they realized was their trade-off. So what I was thinking now when you were talking again was, how much it benefits to go inclusive in the beginning when you choose your focus. So you include as many different options as you can. And then when you understand what the focus is, I think what happens then is that you drop down a level or you go up a level in terms of your view. Because you're choosing the focus that is applicable to all those choices or all those options that you've included.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, it could be sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if you think about our emotions and our thoughts, you could follow the same process, right?
Yeah. Because that example I gave too, it's usability was sacrificed for profit in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Like as software was being developed, a lot of it was released long before it should have been.
Yeah.
And you basically made the public your beta testers and your guinea pigs.
That's right.
Right. And they had to, you forced the public to work through the bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see creation of things like that here on out as being a lot more pure and a lot more complete. With higher things in mind, like usability and sustainability and and all those kind of things, because the reason behind them is not profit anymore. It's
the driving force isn't only profit.
Right, correct.
Or it's not, it's how much profit, because you have to make some to be able to keep the company going, but it's how much. Right?
Yep. You know, and as we develop things in this way that we're doing this morning, you know, that's going to get, that process is going to get more pure.
And it's developing a profit and model.
Right, right.
So that, you
Nice.
know, always thinking about what can come in and replace this. And that is innovation. Innovation is a looking forward and what can replace this, what can take the place, what can come in. Go ahead, Allison.
Is it always replaced, Jace?
No, it can be a complete wipeout too. A radical change. A radical change can be one that's completely different.
Yeah. And what about if it's an addition?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think there's always going to be something that's going to be at the top. Like the primary, the primary focus, which then you could say, well, that's also a foundation.
Yeah.
And if you think of that, then it's today's world for business is profitability.
Mm.
You know, and then it's like, well, now it's like profitability and sustainability, the environment, people, you know, there's all sorts of things that are jockeying with it, right? And it's like everything on top eventually moves down. In that sense, right? Gets replaced.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So that's I do agree, Allison, but I was just thinking in like in that structure, just looking at that structure, what the structure in that domain is focused on.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is, yeah, this has been freaking me out the last couple days. Is I see a reversion back to analog, digital. An example of that, the electromagnetic spectrum that we use to communicate data inside. So one of the simplest forms of that is the radio, where you have AM waves, or you had in the beginning, you had AM waves, and you had a receiver for AM waves. Well, AM waves don't need to be away. They're sent out as a wave and received as a wave. What digital did is digital became an intermediate step in that, so that you could basically slam more data in less space inside that wave. But all of that data can be transmitted telepathically or higher dimensionally. And as human beings get more used to being able to, like as a human being gets more used to being a radio receiver, you won't need digital anymore. Actually be able to receive and transmit without it, without the technology. Because that technology is actually built in.
Yeah, it is.
To a human being. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the how
Won't
to
have dependence on wire.
Yeah, Yeah, we all have it now.
Might criticize you. When they criticize you, they aim to put your head.
Morning. Good morning, Nikki.
Morning, Nikki.
Good morning. Morning, Alison, Jesse, Craig.
Good morning.
How are we all doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm celebrating me.
Very good.
Again?
Not again, Craig. You know what? Again and again and again and again and again. But especially today. 19 years arrived
Yay.
today.
Oh, wow.
Arrived 19 years from sunny Cape Town, South Africa.
Wow.
19 years in New York, Manhattan. Thank you very much. So love me, hate me, whatever. Doesn't matter anymore. Nothing to prove anymore. Nothing. I'm done. It's a done deal, honey. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like it or don't. Yeah. If only I could know this, but thank God I'm alive to know this now. And that's what matters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We learn and we grow. Thank God. Thank God. That's all I can say.
Where we fight to stay the same.
No, I don't want to fight. No more fighting. That's
I know.
no more. I've been fight freeze and flight for all my life. No more. No. I know my tribe, and that's all that matters. And that's what it is. Because you can't do this alone, as Jesse says, and I totally agree with that. You just can't do this alone. And to have the courage to step out and gather everybody together, and then we can scatter and just be better, even if it's just that at that moment in time that gets us in momentum to take on the next. Yes, and I can just say that I have really, appreciated everything. Yeah, I just appreciate everything. To me, it's no good or bad anymore. That's just what it is. People show you by your behavior. They just show you by their behavior. It's nothing personal. Absolutely nothing personal. If they celebrate you, great. If they don't celebrate you, that's also great. It's got nothing on you. But what I do know is that when they do celebrate you, that's when you know those are the people you want to be encountered and by your side.
Yeah, that makes it a pretty darn easy choice, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they make the choice for themselves. You don't need to make the choice for them. They make it. So that's why it's really a blessing. And I really count my blessings today. I really, really do. I really do. Because this living year, it's been quite an experience, let me tell you. Yeah. It's not
years, huh?
Yeah. So the proof's in the pudding. Yeah. It's like, because everybody thought like it's going to just matter of time, like in a month or so, I'm going to call it quits, Yeah.
That's interesting because we immigrated approximately the same time.
Wow.
For me, it'll be 18 years in August.
Wow, there you go. Hey, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah.
I know there's something to that. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but
well, I don't go too deep with that. I'll just keep it on the surface.
Yep.
So you asked how I was today. And for today, my word is innovating play.
Oh God, come on now, let's go. Just today, Just repeat on that. I want to hear it again. Say again.
Innovate, play.
Innovate, play. Oh, Jesus, that is like into my soul. Like every cell in my body is just leaping with joy right now. Because that's what I want to do.
Yep.
So my word this morning was wonder.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
Like you, Alison, Wonder Woman.
Oh,
You have wings to fly. You have wings to fly, Alison. Oh, and wisdom, under wisdom. Yeah. I don't know why I feel that I want to come with Alison, that wonder wisdom. I want to say that. I want to follow through with wisdom.
Mhm.
Wisdom.
Sure.
Yeah. Because wisdom has brought me through, you know, yeah, through life. As I've asked God to help me with wisdom, give me wisdom, please give me wisdom. When I didn't know, you know. Mm.
Yeah.
And what I love about wisdom is the quality of having the experience, knowledge, and good judgment, the quality of being wise and listening to my words. Listening to my words, as Craig kindly encouraged me to listen to my voice. And that's the voice I'm listening to. Me, my words.
Mm.
No more what other people, they can say what they want to say.
it's
Because they're going to, yeah.
Still voice inside of you, Nikki.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you. That's the voice. That's the voice, Alison.
Yeah.
So wonder wisdom. Oh my God, that feels so good. And as an African, South African sister, like African sister, you know how they go? Hey, sister. You are that. You are that, Alison. You are so soul sister, like soul sister. So I thank you. It means everything to me. And that's what I also just want to bring into this no moment. In this now no moment is that I couldn't be closer to South Africa. I couldn't be closer to home than having you with me here right now. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Because the first year I used to just wonder, is there South Africans living in New York? Because I don't know. And then I went into the Twin Tower, well, not Twin Tower at that time, but it was another in our neighborhood, sorry. It was like Brookfield, you know, the Brookfield, it doesn't matter. It's just a beautiful kind of mall, like a shopping mall kind of thing that we have here. It's done very nice. Anyway, okay. And I came out and there was somebody outside and she was smoking. And I said, I don't know why I said hello. I just did. And she said hello back. And she looked at me. She said, are you South African? I said, yeah. So she said, yes. I said, yes, too. I said, oh my God. Oh my God. There's a South African
Now
that
you
lives
know
in
why.
What? When she said that, she said, I live in 70 Battery Place. I said, are you kidding me? Lived in my building on the 6th floor.
Oh my God.
Her and her husband. Can you cope? Husband, and he was from Johannesburg, and she was from Cape Town, like where I'm from. Yeah.
Wow.
And then I thought, well, isn't that interesting? Now I go anywhere, no matter where I go in New York, I find South Africans. They come to me. Last Sunday, I met somebody, said that his name Gareth, lived in London, but he's born in Johannesburg. The homeless man that lives downstairs, his name's T. He comes from Egypt. He's an Egyptian, Africa. Hello. You know what I'm saying? It's like no matter where I go, I just find Africans all over the place.
The Africans are taking over Battery Park.
I'm telling you, we have taken over. What do you mean going to take over? We have taken over. Yeah, it's pretty, very, very cool. Yeah. So
I used to get so embarrassed because I didn't recognize South Africans' accents.
Me neither, eh?
It was so weird. I
Yeah.
somebody would say to me, are you from South Africa? And I'd say, how do you know?
I know, me too. Me too. I used to say that too. I
And
also
I
used to
don't
say,
know why that is.
I don't know either. I don't know either. I wonder.
Okay. I don't hear Canadian either.
Yeah, I don't even know any more accents. I don't hear accents, only English accents. And Australian that came from Texas.
Oh, yeah, that's a very strong accent.
Wow. Miss Nikki. she says, Miss Nikki. I go, listen, honey, I don't know. But this is how we were raised. We say Miss Nikki. I go, okay. If it makes you happy, but I would like to just be called Nikki. Fine. But I got something right yesterday because my son came with his friend Nathan because he's going for a trial for long story. Saying hi to him and checking, Father's Day on Sunday. And so I was just like coming together and say, hey, what are we going to do? And this and this and that. And he's got something, nicely planned. We got something nicely planned. What I did like is when he said, yes, ma'am. And I go, oh, wow, okay. In front of his friend, Do you know what that means? That means like a sense of like,
it's respect.
Respect. Yeah, I really thought that's interesting. Thank you. Because a lot of times when they serve you, they say, yes, ma'am, no, yes, sir. And it depends, but this was so beautifully said. He said, yes, ma'am, when he left and went out with his friend. And I thought to myself, thank you. Yeah. Respect is a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's respect for each other, but respect for yourself. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. So I was very honored because, you can't really teach. You can only show that by example. You can't really teach that. I know it's not. You can't. It has to be from oneself to really know how to respect. Because
it had to be
you can't beat. Yeah.
Witnessed and taught real early, right? It's just it's part of the structure.
Yeah. It is. It really is. It's like, it's really interesting and grateful for that. Yeah.
So I'm celebrating with you, Nikki.
I know you are. Thank you,
2 me's
Jesse.
ago. So 2 me's before we got into South Africa, you were talking about celebrating yourself. Yes. And the way you said me just rang with play.
Oh my God, Jesse, you're so intuitive. That is exactly what it is. That is my nature. I've always I just love the play of just playing, Yeah. And I feel that's just, I can feel that now. I can just be that now. And whoever wants to play it, it can come along.
Pretty perfect spot for that.
And it's going to be a lot of fun. So it's just fun. And a lot of people need to get to be able to embody that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just, it's annoying for others and it can be very frustrating for others. And basically because they're not there. And that's okay. But I'm not going to put myself on the back burner anymore. That's for sure. I'm on fire. That's what I am. I've always been on fire. My energy, my who I am, what I am. I've always had to shade myself with all different colors of gray because people were not comfortable. Well, they got to be uncomfortable now because I'm uncomfortable. Trust me, I'm uncomfortable. When I get into positions that I'm uncomfortable. But I got to get familiar to feel comfortable now. In the uncomfortable when they don't celebrate you. when they do reject you, when they do gossip about you, they criticize you, put you down. Who do you think you are? All of that. Don't do that. Didn't work out. You failed. You made mistakes. Remind you of what you've done. All the mistakes you've done. Not correcting what you have done right. Not only see what you've done wrong. Only see what you're wrong. And no compassion there. No compassion. No empathy. No understanding. No love. Nothing. So for that, I put my hand up now, not my finger, my hand, and say, no, go away, stay away. I don't need you. Don't need you. I'm quite okay. Because the people that I now know that's coming on my boat, literally to sail with me, they're my crew. They're my crew. They're my fellow sailor, going to sail the waves with me, ups and downs. So yeah, gotta be, just gotta be. No, I haven't got, there's no more time to waste.
I celebrate the calmness when that happens, the calmness to hear.
Yeah.
What is really being said when all of that negativity is happening, when all that charge is happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to say, well, is that mine? Is that yours? Is that both of ours?
Yeah.
Because there are certain things that I find I could never change that. You can love to be, it can be, you can try to be buried in it.
Yeah, you take on. Suffering is for me, because I know now suffering is an option, but suffering is also not to be able to take somebody else's suffering, but to go along with them aside and say, I'm there, because this is where people run away, and can't deal with it because they're not strong enough. And I understand. But I realize that God's giving me to be able to take somebody else's suffering, but not to put it onto me. Yeah. But I walk aside by side. That to me, I can now be the vehicle that I can say to, I can now take you to the next destination just today, not tomorrow, not next week, just today. And that made me realize there's no faith. And how can we turn this around to just in our advantage? One thing, yes, and one thing, get the yes. And I'm witness this in my sister. It's been absolutely transformational. Like, you want to try to change and be some sort of hero in somebody's life when somebody comes to you as a client, a friend, a sister, a brother, a spouse, a lover, whoever, a friend. Really get down to the nitty gritty that person cannot give you nothing but their sorrow. They cannot give you nothing. It's just all about. And that's when you know. That's when you really know what you're made of. Because it's pure it's just pure satisfaction, like, just there. And you think, what can I do? Yeah. There's nothing you can do than just know that you're there.
Exactly.
And that she knows, and she knows that I'm there. And that, to me, I feel in my own, because I'm an empath. I can feel her, that she knows it's not about the financials, not about this, it's not about that, blah, blah. It is about everyday decision, little choices that she has to make because she's under such difficult circumstances. And that brought a lot of light to me, in a dark place. A lot of light. Yeah.
Under pressure.
Nikki,
yes, Alison.
I'll share something with you in terms of
yes, please.
How I got to be able to be more facilitative.
Yes, please.
So for me, there's a distinction between people's pain and their suffering.
Yes, thank you.
And I find that we help by showing up, just being there, you help to carry the pain. And then they can see to their suffering, because our suffering has got to do with that loop that we go through, that we stay in between, for me, between the personality and the unconscious. Right? It's different to pain. Life has got pain, but it doesn't have to have suffering. And if we help to carry the pain, then they've got more resources to break through the suffering. So I don't know if that helps you. I mean, it sounds like you've been doing fine. But
oh no, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. Absolutely. Yeah, the suffering's an option. Suffering is just an option. Pain is inevitable. We're all going to go through the pain. But what's beautiful about it is that when I had this overwhelm, where you just want to take everything from that person, that you know, from my sister, what she's going through, and I it just can't. You can't imagine. You know, you just can't imagine. You can't. You know, everyone pay each other's pain. Like she would say to me, "Oh, Nikki, you went so and so," and I said, "Yeah, Becky, but you also went through so and so." And then she says, "Yeah, but," I said, "No, but there's no buts. Your pain was your pain, and pain is pain. Can't compare each other's pain, you know." But with this situation, it's this is somebody that I have under my wing for all my life. I try to protect. You follow? I protected her my whole life. I really did. Do you know what I mean? It's like my baby sister. I mean, she's not a baby, but she's still my baby. You follow? But I don't see her as a baby anymore. Yeah? You follow? It's like this relationship now that we can be grown and we can grow up with each other now. We've grown. We're not children anymore. Yeah? So she doesn't need to be saved. She doesn't need to be saved. She needs someone. Like we all need someone. That's it. She just needs to know that I'm there for her. And she's there for me. Because much as you think I'm in a position to give in a way that, but she's actually given me. She's actually given me. God works in mysterious ways. When you think you got what you can give and there's nothing in return, trust me, that's where the giving spirit comes. When God says, when you give, it will be pressed down, shaken together, and runneth over. The giving spirit, the serving of each other, not trying to get anything in return. Like, what can you give me? And unfortunately, in society, they can only give when they know that you got something to give to them. But when there's nothing you can give to someone, then you know you're in the right, in alignment of what is expected. But she's given me more than I've can ever possibly give her. And that's the beauty. That's the beauty from the ashes.
Well, you gave her an ear.
She gave, you know, JC, she gave me the ear, but she also allowed me to be able to have my voice. Because we never spoke about things. We weren't allowed to speak about the pain. We weren't allowed to speak, periodly. Nothing. We couldn't speak. We couldn't make mistakes. This is very important. It was ingrained in us. We were feared for our lives. This is not even a joke. When I say this, it's absolutely like, who was that? Like, what life did I live? Trust me. And she gave me the voice to say yes, and yes and yes and. For the first time, I could have somebody say, I heard you, Nikki. When I say first time, meaning my family, my absolutely sibling that has witnessed it, has seen it, gone through it herself. Yes, all of them have gone through it. And so this is where I come through.
This yours? Nice.
So I'm very grateful, man. Very grateful.
I was in the pain, right? And part of
Yeah.
the pain, when it's someone else's pain, it's like, yeah, we were like to carry the pain with them, and it's like, well, yeah, and it's more of like, so to hear their pain,
Yeah.
to allow that, but then you also, and it's like to allow to be able to speak it out.
Yeah, that's
is the release.
Yeah.
And in that, when it's spoken out, especially, however, it's like, oh, you can see, like, you can see what you can change, what you can help with. But then you see, it's like, well, that's your deal, not mine.
Mm.
And
you can let go.
There's never anything I can do about that.
Amen. That's it. Amen. It's the acknowledgement of letting go, but truly allowing yourself. That's where I now understand. It's not about what other people are going through or say to me. It's what I know. It's what I really know. So yeah, you can disagree with me. It doesn't matter. You know, This is not about your lifestyle, how you live your lifestyle. Doesn't mean I've got to live that lifestyle. That's your lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And people get killed if they don't live the same lifestyle. They don't make the same decision because they feel their life's at threat. Because that's what basically the quarter brain thinks. So the frontal brain. If you come with a message that they don't like, they want to kill you.
Yeah.
They want to literally destroy you, kill you.
Yeah.
The messenger. Don't kill the messenger, baby. Don't kill the messenger. You know that saying? Don't kill the messenger. I'm just a messenger. But they used to kill the messenger because they didn't like the message.
Yeah.
So what do? They quickly cut you. They cut you. And they let you bleed to death. Now, it's time to wake up now. Time to wake up.
Yeah. And in that disagreement is to look at, then it's the time to say, oh, right, I'm well open to look at another view, another place, another point.
That's right.
Let's have a conversation about it.
Oh, lovely. That's what I'm talking about. That's why clients, because of Allison's on this call, I just want to bring it up because I heard most times clients have a very good relationship with their therapist. You know why? The intentive of listening, of engaging, and having a relationship in a way that they can be. And that's the healing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the healing.
And it's terrible that we live in a world where people have to pay for that.
Hey, Jesus. Isn't that true, Allison?
Okay, just
Jesse's laughing, playful laugh there.
Yeah. It's interesting because it was a relationship that got us into the mess, and it's a relationship that also gets us out.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna talk more about the other relationship, the beginning relationship.
You know, I look at the relationship, for example, I look at the relationship with you and I, Jesse. because I see myself as I have a relationship with you. Yeah, I just see that, right? And then I see right from the beginning, right from the beginning, from any mind, right from the beginning when I had interaction with you, right when I had a one-to-one with you, right, and how profoundly and how wonderful it is that you see the intention in the end result. Because here I am, after 4 or 5 years later, having this most intimate gathering every single day. And then also holding space for me as I thank Alison and Craig, and everybody else on the call that is holding space. This is where I say I get to celebrate my life. Because now I have my tribe. I have people in my life that add on to me. That I now know that I can be myself, that I'm not a double threat or triple threat or whatever threat. I am just somebody that they can love, adore, appreciate, respect, value, and celebrate me as I celebrate you. So as I celebrate me, I celebrate you.
Thank you. And for one split second, it was there as if it was like, that is my purpose. It was like, that's it. It's like, what Chris says, it's like the end result, you'll know it when you see it, when you're in it.
Yeah.
Like there. Yeah. And it was like, oh, there it was. And it was like, oh, and it went by.
Yeah.
But even, I mean, the point of it is, it's like that feeling, right? That emotion of it, that end result emotion was there, but then it faded off and it's like, all right, yes, and next. Because it's still a continuation of the journey.
And you mature as we go. We mature because we see each other's hearts, and there's things that, we can know that it's not just a straight line. It goes up and down. But the ups and downs is like, let's have a conversation. Let's hear what what you're really saying behind of what you are saying. Because sometimes you're just trying to get it out to understand when you don't understand. And it's the other person that has that maturity and the gift to say, no, this is what I hear. This is what I feel. This is what's coming up for you. Yeah. And I think this is what the call does. The sessions, the calls that we have. It's sometimes you talk, you don't even know why. It's connected to that because it energetically opens and says, oh, this is what I hear, what you're saying. And it's vitally important that gets said, because that gives clarity. And how do you know if you don't know? How do you really know? I mean, people say, oh, Nikki, you haven't got that much experience. I say, yeah, you're right. I'm doing it for about 4.5 years. Yeah, you're right. I haven't. But who says, oh, but how can you transition? How can you transition from this to that? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, honey, I gotta start somewhere. I mean, what do you want me to do? I wasn't born like, hello. I have to become it. I have to practice it. So give me a chance. I mean, they stand in front of you thinking like you got to be some sort of up there in the ladder because, oh, you've been doing this for so and so, but you also haven't been doing it for long enough. So it's either or other. It doesn't matter. It's not about you. It's not about you.
Yeah, it's about both and our language.
Yeah.
Communication.
Both.
Yeah. The language can't. Our language can't. Well, it can, but we don't structure our language to include both.
Yeah.
That's the real learning here, is to teach ourselves a language that is inclusive of both.
Yeah.
enough and not enough, hate and love, anger
Yeah.
and
Polarity. Yeah.
joy,
Yeah.
all of
I love that.
and profit
Expansive
and
language.
yeah.
Yeah.
Rejection for redirection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blame. Blame and what would be the opposite of blame? Compassion.
Yeah. That's a good question.
Empowering, yeah.
Which is a big part of compassion.
Yes. Oh yeah.
I think compassion is a good one, Jess.
Yeah. Compassion.
How about
I have to
judge? What would
go.
be opposite of judge? Bye, Allison. Thank you for being here
Allison,
again.
bye, Allison. Thank you
Okay,
for your.
Allison.
guys. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Don't be sorry. Have a wonderful day, you Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
And I
Wonder-
want you. I love you, my fellow South African.
Love Allison.
Love you too. Bye.
Wings to
wisdom.
fly. Wings to
Bye-bye.
fly. She's amazing. I gotta tell you, you know what wisdom came from me with her word of the day when she said wonder? It came so obvious wisdom. Allison has wisdom all over her.
She is so packed.
But
It's
like
all
from the
packed.
top to the bottom, from the in, from the out. Like I feel her like so energized. Like, oh, she's energizing. It's like my whole body just vibrates when she's on. It's like and it's like and it's like, oh,
truly
it's
an
so
honor.
it's such an honor and it's such a privilege. It's like and I just got gonna connect, and I do it, as I do. It's so cool. I love her so much. I really do. I love her so much. We South African girls, baby. You don't get better than South Africa. We walk. We walk. We really walk.
For sure. And for me to be in the presence of two of them, wow.
I'm telling you, right?
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Right? Isn't that interesting?
How did that happen?
A farm boy from Montana.
I'm telling you, that's what I'm talking about.
A church boy from Montana.
Oh, even better. Oh my God, it's even getting better. Now I'm really sparked up.
Yeah. Preacher's
You know,
boy better.
Oh God, Whitney Houston, here we come. You're gonna get me starting to sing. I'm gonna start singing a preacher's son. I gotta just tell you, a preacher's
that
son.
And Jesse's girl. And I've heard all of those.
Jesse's girls. I'm telling you, I gotta tell you, equally yoke with somebody, I think is a gift you give to yourself when you equally yoke with somebody. Yeah. Then it's just it's just a real easy flow. No head butting, no, it's just that now I really understand about equally yoke. Now I understand what that means, what it really means. And
Yeah, I just got an insight into that too, as you guys are talking about it. Wow. Less yoke and more intimacy.
Yeah, it's like intimacy becomes the yoke. The the production, because it's as when I think of the yoke, I'm thinking of work, right? So work in that, and it's like so adding play to the yoke in a way is like we're doing it together, we're pulling each other through it, or one might get tired, the other one picks up, it's like together make it happen. And the energy, our energy is the yoke.
It's how you're bound together energetically. So a yoke is is kind of a slave device.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like
I'm
looking at it from the other
being
side.
chained to the same oar.
Mm.
Same kind of thing, right? But intimacy is not a chain. Intimacy is actually a freedom. So you're bound by freedom.
Yes, by choice and passion. Passion just keeps showing up in that.
Right. Yes.
Like
Egg. I see it as an
that one.
egg that it's still going into the process of becoming.
Well, thanks
And
for
so that to me brings it together when you can combine and come in.
That's
Oh
beautiful.
wow, you just gave me a great metaphor.
And then you get, and then what's beautiful about that is that when it does come into the whole in being playful.
Innovation is a birth. Yes.
Yes.
Innovate. It's that energy of innovating play.
Yeah, innovating. I love that. Incubator, invading.
Creating, designing, developing,
Yeah.
allowing.
Yeah.
Encouraging, engaging.
Yeah. And we talk about words, and we talk about what we're sharing about how our English language and how we can communicate and speak the language that we need to speak and what we need to hear as we didn't have as a child, but in the same with the words that we give to each other and to ourselves. And this is where we birth a whole new language of understanding each other. Because what happens is that most people misunderstand and they will put their fear onto you or their doubt. But that's when you have to just see it for what it is and say, decide what I need to do. So it's all about that, going within, listening to you, listen to that inner voice, like Alison says, that little inner voice that we all have, that we always had. But now we give meaning to this because is the involvement, the whole, everything's new. Everything's new now. It's not old. Everything's new. You are new. I'm new. We all new.
Changing.
Yeah. New day. Every day is a new day.
Every day. There's an orientation to it. There's an orientation to wonder, orientation to new, an orientation and invitation to new, and engaging of new, and on so tight.
Yeah.
And it just stays. We just keep hanging on that, and we're going up rather than forward.
Wow.
Actually, we're not even going up. We're just holding in the same position in this storm. It's like holding on to the anchor's rope, right? The anchor's chain. It's like we're climbed up that so far.
Beautiful. You know what comes up just where you are right now is just where you are. and it's okay. Thriving and being and should and have and all this, it's just a waste of, because you don't know till you actually get there. And that's why right now, this present moment, to be in the present is that all you really have. You only have this. And this is the gift we can give to ourselves to really embody. And that's when we get to be able to. And on that note, I want to say, I love you. Thank you. And I choose and I need to say, Vova. I mean, practice that in French. Pascal's got me on the yeah, God, those rules, those R's, I struggle. But I'm getting better. But I'm going to say tot ziens in South Africa. We say tot ziens. And that means goodbye. Tot ziens is goodbye. Bye.
Thanks for sharing your morning with us, Nikki. Have a great day.
Thank you, Jesse.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So where were we?
Where are we?
No, that was interesting. She really explored some, well, she didn't really explore them. She mentioned a lot of very explorable ideas there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very great insights. Yeah, great experience. It's as if it's manifesting, it's coming into existence. And sharing with us like the journey that she's seen in herself and with others.
Yeah. What I'm sensing that she's experiencing is a lot of insights that are popping in extremely quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a deluge.
Yeah.
She hasn't had the time to process any of them.
Yeah. It's more and more time of embracing her power, which is shifting, taking the energy from old structures and building new structures.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we're all doing. That's what we're all doing, and that's why timing. It isn't a linear process. It isn't step by step like we think it is, and so we're breaking through the ways that we think it has to happen, and in that opens possibilities for how it could appear differently.
Yeah. Detangling is not linear in any way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm. And detangling is the first part.
Yeah. And what I realized too, and I want to acknowledge this, is that there's a huge intelligence behind our detangling, as in the order of it and the process and the incremental part of it.
Yep. And there was an intelligence creating the entanglement.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
It's not like it was there one time and not the next. It's like, it's like that adds peace to the power as well.
Yeah, that wasn't random either.
Right. But we weren't accepting of it in the moment, which is what we can now see as we're aware of it. It is so true. The key is all we have is right now.
Well, that's an awareness.
Yeah, the awareness of that all we have is right now. And then the awareness comes to, well, what am I attaching to because that becomes one point of structure. And then it's like, what am I attaching to? Am I attaching to how it's been, to the past, or am I attaching to here we are and where are we going? What's next?
Yeah.
If you think about it, you can't attach to both at the same time.
True. True.
When you're aware, when you're focused of it. And therefore, we have a tendency, a majority, to either look backwards and attach backwards or attach forwards. Now, you can also do that and forget about the moment of now, which is where most of us are. We're unaware of where we are with what we've got right now. And that is all we have. And when we can see the whole picture of that, which is in neutral, it's from neutral, do we get to see the whole view? Can we take in so much more information than if we're at one of the poles, if we're at one of the charges, if we're stuck in one of those charges? And that's the meat of the session.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the stillest spot of the storm is actually in the eye of it.
Yeah, great.
Smack in the middle of it.
That's right. The center, right? Center. Centered. Centered in the moment of now. There's no greater gift than that. Centered in the eye of the storm. That takes practice. And you can't practice it in the center of.
Yeah.
You can only observe your progress in this storm. And then you observe, reflect afterwards how you did, and that becomes the improvement for the next storm. In that, where was I equal? Where was I not? Where was I judging? Where was I blaming? Where was I validating? Oh, did I allow my genius? Did I allow our genius? Did I allow your genius? Did I recognize your genius, your gifts, your greatness? Did I honor that with yes and, or did I just say no, fixed, limited, it had to be a certain way? That is the reflection. And that is the awareness. That's Jess's claim. That is my awareness. Try it on for yours.
Yeah.
Modify it and make yours up is all that matters. Yeah.
Yeah. Find out what fits you.
Yes. But engage and try something.
Yeah.
And that takes the focus. So then we come into the phase 2. It's like that takes the focus. It's focusing on it. Focusing means I say, oh, I'm going to pay attention to the moment of now, of what is, of what's happening, what my thoughts and feelings are, and how I'm responding to it in the moment of now. That's the focus. That becomes a beginning focus. And then we observe it. Observe it as what? Neutral. Observe neutral. Notice when you're judging. Notice when you're blaming. Notice when you're angry, frustrated. And notice when you're celebrating, when you're joyful, when you're at peace. Observe. And when you're in the storm, relax. And trust your focus. Trust your practice. Trust your process. I don't care about winning anymore because there's nothing to lose. How do I want this to be? What would it be like? How could it be? We begin to look forward from where we're at. wondering why, wondering what do we need to do? How could we? And then resistance will come up, why we can't have it. Things will be in the way. We'll tell ourselves these old stories, become aware of them. And we like, look at it. Is it true? Is it entangled to that tell us why we can't have what we want? They're not true. And we learn to, we seek, we find out, we look for that truth. We look for what's true from within us, from the center of us, from our heart, from our passion, from our peace, from our purpose. And we take the step from there. That is the happy matrix. The happy 20 days now, that is what just has been continually focused on. Continuously developed. And we're seeing the results of it,
Yeah. Yeah, I sure am.
And how do I know? It's like when people tell me, like one of the big ones is like, oh, one of the big awarenesses is like, oh, I moved. I allowed my dark side. That's one of the big. It's all. I think it's a fundamental step for all of us.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'll confirm that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like when you hear people in their development of it, it's like that is when you can see it all. You can hold, you're not forced. And it's like when you see that, you can allow everything to be there because you've really mentally unattached from everything and then reattached more powerfully, more purposely, more intentionally to things that matter to your values than ever before. Yeah. The most recent one with that was Lynn. So I honor that in Lynn's journey.
Yes. Great thing about that is that because we allow ourselves to go through that, our children and grandchildren will have a lot less of that to wade through.
Yes. 15 to 20 generations, I think, or at least are coded up. That's as much information that can be coded into our DNA.
What I'm sensing now is that a lot of that is getting cleaned up in this, in our generation right now. If we choose to do it, you know.
That's right. Oh. And it's the dark, the evil, I'll call the hate, I'll call the anger, the frustration, the negative charges, all of the blaming, the judging, the victim. It's like seeing those patterns and seeing them as that they are the other side of the light of what we want, of who we are, of our power, putting down that guard and letting them flow between each other, to introduce to each other, to meet each other. Because then in reality, it's like that power in the darkness, in the shadow, it is so much of what we were going for before being awake to our power. I was just going about it in the wrong way, right? With the wrong energy.
Yeah.
It was like competing energies.
But you know, expressing your darkness is a large part of your liberation.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I don't believe that you can come to liberation without expressing your darkness.
I don't think so either.
It needs to be
introducing them,
to be let out. You know, it needs to be expressed.
And for most of us, that darkness, what I found is like that dark side of it has been running our careers, right? Most of our adulthood.
Yes.
And so then it's coming back to child, the play of the child, and merging those two together to allow them in. And it's, you know, it's a week, it's 10 days, it's 2 weeks, it might even be longer. I mean, it is not an overnight thing.
No.
Nor do you plan on it coming or happening.
Yeah.
Nor do you know when it's going to end until it ends.
Yeah. I can really relate to all you just said.
What I honor is like there's that's interesting. It can take years to get there, or it can take hundreds of days.
Yeah.
That's where we're at now. That is, and it'll get quicker. It gets sooner the more that we do it.
Yeah. As the song have to wait.
That's right.
That's a sweet one. That's a sweet one. Yeah. Can't hurry love. Yeah, love has its own pace. Yeah, its own intelligence. Oh my.
Love has its own pace. Its own pace, its own cadence. It has anger and frustration in it.
Yeah. It contains everything.
Mm-hmm. It's all of it.
Yeah.
You know, love is hate.
Yeah. It's big enough to contain that.
And then in all reality, there isn't any love either. There's just something. It's like whatever is something. It's like we can choose whatever we want it to be, which is what we do.
Yeah.
We've just been conditioned inappropriately, wrongly in our structure today.
Yeah.
Misinformed and misled for reasons.
Misinformed, misinterpreted, misunderstood.
Yep. All with a deeper intention, right? It's like it has to go that way.
Yeah.
As if to experience all the possibilities of it. And at some point you run out of all the possibilities to experience that with. So what is available is only what's right here, right now, in front of us. It is what we focus on. And the key is to be aware of what we're focusing on, what we're saying to ourselves, what we're feeling, and it is it what we want?
Yeah, what's the color commentary we're putting on it?
Yeah. That's the toughest one. It's easier to hear it in others, but then the practice is to hear it in ourselves, in ourself. Feel it in ourself.
Say feel with an F or H with an feel with an H.
Feel. I was thinking about feeling the emotions, right?
Yeah.
You know, listening to the talk, our self-talk, and feeling the emotions of it, because that is our response. And then, of course, like the healing comes after that.
You know, the true story is much better. Much better.
And that's it. It's like to be aware of the truth and a truth. Meaning the a truth is the truth that we have made up, that we believe to be true, that is unexamined. And the truth, I'd say the truth is we are powerful creators. That is the truth. We have a choice every moment. That is the truth. We are expansively powerful, yet a truth we make up is we are limited victims.
Yeah.
That's why it's so difficult, because you can, the focus, the mind, the thinking mind can just jump between thoughts so randomly.
Yeah.
It's it's conditioned to do that.
It doesn't want to sit with the truth.
No.
With the capital T truth.
That's right. Good way to put it, the capital T truth.
Yeah.
because then we would have to be wrong. Or not right. And that is very uncomfortable. We think about how desire, how much energy is into being right. How much is invested in us being right.
Well, and improving it every year.
Yeah.
It's a real twisted energy, that is.
Yeah. I mean, the way you test it is to say, oh, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Say it sometime and just feel the resistance you have to it. That's how you know how uncomfortable it is. Say, I don't know. That's another way to release to know.
Yeah.
And then really do it in a place where you think you know what you're doing. Say, I don't know in that place, in a situation with others around. That's when the real truth comes out.
Yeah. It's interesting. I've been in the last week. I've been in a couple interviews for things, and it's very interesting when the "I don't know" words come up, and it's like the reaction from the other side of the table. You know, as you're talking this, I just realized that the reaction from the other side of the table is, "Oh, damn, this is really uncomfortable. Let's change the subject really quickly."
Mm-hmm, it is.
Or what do you mean you don't know?
Mm-hmm.
You have to know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, I can't. I'm not in a position to make a decision about this at this particular time. Right? And it's like, so it's not one of these decide now things. And especially for salespeople, that drives them nuts.
Mm-hmm.
When you do that to them.
Mm-hmm.
They're pissed off at themselves that they didn't read you better.
Yeah, right. It reveals the true intentions too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it strips it down to the capital T truth. It's a shortcut. I don't know, and I'm wrong. Both of those are the shortcut to the truth. And people are uncomfortable to the truth. We're so much comfortable with our A truths, with the small t, lower letter T, the truth that we've made up, that we live in, that we're comfortable and orient to.
Yeah, that gets confused with the idea of my truth.
Yep.
Which is most people want the same thing.
Yeah, it is, until it's been examined. Only when it's examined can it become one or the other. These are so shallow and easy to spot.
Yeah, there's no ownership of capital T truth.
Mm-hmm.
Can't call that my truth.
Yep.
Never will be. The union.
And only the closer we are to neutral is where we can hear both of them and see which one it is.
See the difference.
Unbiased, uncharged, uninhibited. Yeah,
Uninhibited.
Perceived.
Yeah. Starting to get hot earlier and earlier and earlier.
We shift towards that real summertime, huh?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've been walking since 5:30, so it's like, yeah. My arms are getting tanned. Yeah, it's things. And truth doesn't make sense. Capital T truth doesn't make sense.
No. Oh, because it usually goes against. It goes against the little truth that we've believed or been told or thought was safe.
Unfortunate term. Makes sense.
That's right.
Because what I've discovered is you can actually, my body can sense the truth. Capital T truth. My body can make sense out of it, but my brain can't.
Yeah, another level of awareness, huh?
Yeah, totally.
Only when you can first admit that you're wrong, that your truth is wrong. Your perceived truth is wrong, or could be, or it could be. That's the only thing we need, could be.
Your body to be your awareness.
Yep.
Allowing your body to inform you instead of your.
Oh, Craig, another great day.
Oh, yeah.
I honor and appreciate your journey, your genius, your gifts, your resilience, yeah, your play, your heart. Your heart is huge. And I thank you.
You Jesse, you bless me every day.
It goes both ways, man.
Yeah, sure does.
There'd been many days I'd have showed up alone. If it weren't for you, so I honor that.
Yeah, these times that we get just you and I together are extremely sweet.
They're new levels, right? Next places, innovations there.
That's when things really incubate. Get into this kind of deep interplay.
Yep.
You might be losing me because my battery's going.
All right. Well, let's call it. I'm going to step out anyway. So get on with my day. All right, my man.
Sounds good. Love you, Jesse.
Thanks, Craig. Love you too, man. All right. Bye, Craig.
Yeah, it is. Bye.